Though we have all traveled many uncertain roads, we have always recognized something wasn't right. We searched high and low, yet our paths had never intersected. Our desire to seek truth, then to speak true, has brought us all together. That thing of ours is rooted in truth, because truth is the only unshakable foundation. In the greatest book, it states in John 8:32, "For ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free."
Truth is a powerful force. It is the foundation on which all great achievements are built, and the bedrock of trust and respect in any relationship. When we are rooted in truth, we can be confident that our decisions and actions are grounded in reality rather than in speculation or wishful thinking.
The pursuit of truth is not always easy. It requires courage, perseverance, and a willingness to face uncomfortable facts. But in the end, the truth is always worth it. It allows us to make better decisions, to build stronger relationships, and to create a more just and equitable world.
From politics and world events to entertainment and pop culture, we've got you covered. We'll explore our history and the stories that matter to uncover the truth that lies at the heart of each one. With our fingers on the pulse of the news cycle, we'll provide the insights and analysis you need to stay informed and engaged. As we stay rooted in truth and let the truth guide us in all that we do, let us be willing to listen, to learn, and seek out the facts, even when they challenge our own assumption or belief.
Let us never forget that the pursuit of truth is not just an individual endeavor, but a collective one. Only by working together
With honesty and integrity,
can we build a better future for ourselves
And for generations to come.
This is That Thing of Ours. How's it going, everybody? Thank you for joining us today on this Tuesday, 3rd of September, 2024. We'd like to thank each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and Pill.net.
and if you haven't already, please take a moment and give me that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on pill.net, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, use one of the things they have.
The buttons, yeah.
The
yeah.
buttons.
I see that there's new buttons too.
Yeah.
Like people have already hit them. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, there's buttons.
Whee.
So let's say hi to everyone.
Hi to everyone.
Got F. Clint in the house.
Yo, what's up, F. Clint?
Got Aaron in the house.
How you doing, Aaron?
Got Chachi in the house.
What's up, Chachi?
Not too many people showing up yet.
Well, it kind of happens. People are rolling in.
Rolling in slowly.
We got that long ass intro, and whatever.
Hey, the intro is badass, and we fixed it.
We did fix a couple of things. There's more that needs fixing.
But
Whatever. I figure I'll just do a change a month. We'll see how that goes.
hey, whatever.
Whatever. So, I noticed that it was a rather interesting day. How much is going on today?
There's a lot going on.
Mm-hmm. I'm sure.
So hold on one
Oh,
second.
okay,
I'm
so
doing
you're still doing the
stuff.
things.
Yeah.
All right.
There's
Well,
always stuff
see,
to
there she goes.
do.
So she's off to go do Kate things in
I
the
can't
background.
help it.
And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to say.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
Well, let's
so,
go ahead and get the first video started.
There we go. That'll help out. Hey, Bethany Ann.
Got Miss Bethany in the
I got that.
house.
There you go. So that way
Thank
you can
you.
focus on the other things. There we go.
So in June 2011, Kamala Harris was driving a car when she hit two pedestrians and left the scene of the accident.
Wait, who did that?
Hills Up Harris. So let's take a listen.
Hey, Wendy.
Nope. Oh, yep. There's Wendy and Hope.
And Hope. I'll get that one. Hey, Hope.
Let's go ahead and listen.
Yeah,
to
let's
this.
do that so that way Kate can finally catch up.
Thank you.
Today we share with you the tragic story of 26-year-old Alicia Brown from San Francisco. The accident that happened to her 13 years ago turned her life into a nightmare and forever deprived her of the ability to walk.
I grew up without a father, and it was tough, but we were pulling through. We live in a small apartment, but we had everything we needed. My mom used to work hard and a lot, yet she always managed to find time for me. And despite having no father, I used to be a very happy child. But however, my childhood ended too soon.
It happened on the evening of June 7th, 2011, when Alicia and her mother were heading home. A car driving the wrong way down a one-way street headed towards the women crossing the road and hit one of them. The event was forever imprinted in Alicia's memory. After 13 years, she finally decided to share the shocking details about the accident and its culprit.
Well, it happened on the corner of Post Street and Jones Street. Me and my mom were walking home from a movie theater after watching Pirates of the Caribbean. It was getting late and we hurried home because my mom had to wake up early for her work. As I remember, we were crossing the road and out of nowhere a car came out from behind a parked van. We were not expecting this because there is only one-way traffic on Post Street, so we were not expecting anyone to drive from that direction. The car was rushing in the opposite lane, and my mom reacted quickly and jumped back. She tugged my arm, but she was too late to save me. And the driver also hit the brakes, but it was also too late. I was just hit in the side and thrown into the road. I fell the curb and it hit my back. And I remember I was laying on the side of the road watching the woman who hit me. And of course, back then I didn't know that is Kamala Harris, California Attorney General. At that moment, I just saw a frightened stranger woman, and I was laying and looking at her, and she was sitting on the wheel looking back at me. I heard my mother screaming, and then the woman turned away from me. She started her car and just drove off quickly. And I tried to turn my head and I look at my mom, but that's when the pain overwhelmed me and I just passed out.
As a result of the impact, Alicia suffered injuries to her pelvis, ribs, and spine. Over the next 3 months, the girl had to undergo 11 surgeries. Despite the best efforts of the doctors, she could never walk again. The girl will be confined to a wheelchair for the rest of her days.
Well, I don't remember those days too well. I was at the hospital getting a lot of painkillers, tests, and surgery, so everything was very blurry. I just know that the day after the incident, I saw my mom talking with two men who came at the hospital. They were standing outside the room. And when my mom came back to me, I asked her who were those people. She said that the woman who hit me was Kamala Harris, a very powerful woman, and those men were her people. So she was told that if the story gets out, we'll be in very big trouble. And if she loves me, she shouldn't report this or look for any justice. I was really devastated because I know I can't walk no more because of my fractured spine. And my mom was just telling me that I'm alive and this is the most important thing. And that's all that matters.
Kamala Harris served as the Attorney General of California from 2011 to 2017. During these years, she often visited San Francisco, where she had previously been a district attorney. She also had a relationship with Willie Brown, who was mayor of San Francisco from 1996 to 2004.
I wanted to go public with my story, but I was so afraid, especially for my mother. And anytime we talk about it, she will be terrified. And I told her that sooner or later I will tell everyone the truth. Now, my mom died a few months ago, and I was left all alone. Now I have no one to fear for, and I cannot remain silent anymore. I used to be able to shut this thought down, but these days, every time I turn on the TV or check on the internet, I see the face of the person who has destroyed my life and she laughs all the time. Like, how can she be laughing knowing what she has done to me? And why all these years she never checked on me? And it's like now she's ruining my life for the second time.
The administration of our channel contacted Vice President Harris's office for clarification, but there was no response.
Surprise. No response.
Thoughts?
Wow. That's a heart-wrenching story, especially when you have to be silenced, and there's really nothing you can do about it. You have no recourse. You have no ability to get back at all of the things that are attacking you. That's an awful scenario, and to be, put into a wheelchair for the rest of your life. She was just a 13-year-old kid.
Yeah.
And Kamala Harris ran her over,
Yeah.
going the wrong way on a one-way street.
Mm-hmm.
I used to make fun of people. Like, I will look the wrong way on a one-way street just because I don't trust people.
Exactly.
I used to make fun of those people. I had no idea that those people made it to become the vice president of the United States.
Interesting question, Aaron.
Wonder Aaron says, I wonder what the statute of limitation is on a felony hit and run. Yeah, that's a good question. In Cali. Yeah. Hey, Jan.
I mean, and she's right. How can Kamala sit there and just cackle all the time, knowing that she ruined a 13-year-old's life?
That's why it's a cackle as opposed to a genuine laugh. It's a cackle because she has no genuine laugh anymore, because her heart is so shut down. She's in her own prison. She's in her own hell. That's why they need our prayers, even though I know that that's difficult at times. But they need our prayers because she knows she's living a lie. She knows that she is, she knows that she is incapable. She's incompetent. She knows that she's in above her head. She knows that she's just a mouthpiece for Barack Obama. She knows that there is nothing real about her. That's exactly why she cackles instead of laughs. It's just like Hillary Clinton. She with the balloons. Oh, it's like, come on.
Yeah.
Like, who gets that excited about
Lightsphere.
balloons? Hey, Lightsphere, thanks for joining. Said, I hope there is a record of the hit and run somewhere. And right now there is, because we are the news and we're the ones that have to spread that information. And that's exactly the kind of thing that the people that are still hanging on as best as they can to Kamala Harris, that's what they need to hear about. Is this who you want running for president? Exactly. Is this who you want running the country? I mean, let's forget about all of the failures that have happened for the past 4 years. And the reason why there's not just one, but now 2 places that have been taken over by Central American street gangs. Let's see.
Which we're going to get into.
Yeah, we're going to get into that. It's like, okay, throw all that away. Is this the kind of person that you want, as your president? Okay, what about President Trump? What did President Trump do? Some dude pulled over to help him with a flat tire. And what did he do?
He paid off his house.
Paid off his house.
He didn't just push him down and take off. I'm so sick of these people. They're disgusting, evil human beings.
They are.
And I know I'm supposed to pray and forgive and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But it's hard.
And blah, blah, blah. All that God stuff.
I didn't mean it like that.
I know you don't mean it like that.
But it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It really is. And I want to thank
you, Bethany, for doing
Bethany for reminding me, and all of you people who are unable to comment because you're watching on your TV or whatever,
or the people who are watching later. We do appreciate all of y'all.
Yes, people who watch later. Thank you so very much for showing up. We absolutely love the fact that you are part of the family.
We do.
Aaron says, I hate to say it, but all that can be proven with that poor woman is that there was a hit and run. Likely can't be proven. It was commie chameleon.
Yeah. Even the microphone cut out. It didn't want to hear that shit either. Sorry. Yeah. Didn't mean to torture all of you. I know I said I'm sorry. Sorry for saying sorry.
Jan says, you're not to accept anything or anyone that goes against the will of God. Thank you, Jan.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank you. It's just frustrating. These people,
Thank you, John.
are something else.
They are, but people need to see the fruits of their labor, and these are their fruits. And we can compare and contrast the fruits. There's the thorns, that come with Kamala, and then there's actual fruits that come with President Trump. Huge difference.
Yeah.
Huge difference.
Absolutely. It's just
yeah, I know.
frustrating.
I got you.
You ready?
Yeah.
More stuff.
More stuff.
You're gonna have to read.
Oh man.
Ready?
Yeah. Oh, like I'm really gonna have to read.
Mm-hmm.
Lord. All right. A former deputy chief of staff to New York Governor Kathy Hochul was charged Tuesday with acting as an undisclosed agent of the Chinese government. Federal prosecutors revealed in a sprawling indictment, Associated Press 9/3/24.
Exactly. All the S words. I agree.
Sorry.
I agree, Aaron. Dogpile the Marine. Okay.
What are you doing?
Seeing it. Is that the same thing? No.
Sprawling indictment. No, not yet. It's still the same.
Okay.
According to the indictment, Linda's son worked to advance the interest of the Chinese government within the Hochul administration, such as blocking Taiwanese representatives from meeting with state government officials.
Dots.
So,
Because I have some.
well, why don't you go first?
It's in our they like putting it in our face. You are the unofficial sorry sheriff. I love it.
You are kind of the unofficial.
You're
sorry
like the
sheriff.
enforcer for Bethany Ann.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Anyways, thoughts?
They don't even care anymore. They're just putting it in our face. They, hire these people. They know damn good and well that they're part of the CCP, just like Tampon Tim going to China 30 times on a teacher's school, a teacher's pay. Bull crap.
They make a lot of money as teachers, apparently.
Yeah, if you can go to China 30 times. They're just full of crap. And it's getting to be to the point where I've struggled today looking at the news because there's just so much going on. They're trying to absolutely 1000% destroy our country. And if she gets elected, we're screwed. And that's why it's so important to go out and vote in person on the day of voting. Thoughts?
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I do appreciate that. It is frustrating.
Mhm.
If we only had some kind of investigative bureau that would look over federal kind of issues, that would be amazing because
Yeah, right?
an investigative bureau over federal kinds of things would certainly look at governors and the foreign agents that they hire. I think that maybe there should be something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently we don't have anything that does that job description.
Yeah.
I mean, the government's big enough. We can just print some more money and have some more agents. I mean, if the IRS can have 80,000 agents, then why can't we create another bureau?
Exactly.
Hmm.
Light Sphere wants you to change your name to Freddie.
Freddie, it's okay, can say. Ready, Freddie. Yeah.
Swalwell.
Swalwell, never got into trouble, and so will no one else. I do believe that all these people are going to get in trouble. I do believe that because the critical mass is there. I'd think that they know that they really don't have the manpower necessary to be able to pull off any of the things that they're going to try to pull off, but they have no choice but to try to do the things that they were going to do. And I believe that that's why we're starting to see some of the chaos that they're starting to sow, because they know that they're losing. And so it's like the hands are getting played out. But all in all, I'm going to say that the American public are awake. A majority of the American public are awake to this now and can certainly stave off any of these kinds of things. I do believe that Trump will get elected, and I believe that all these people will be held to account. I think that this really is, like Q was talking about, a giant sting operation, and that that all of these people, you know, those that are left behind, are playing a part as well as they can. But I do believe that their time is very short.
I agree.
I mean, we wouldn't be finding out about these things. Let's just look at the last two articles that we've shown. We had the gal that got a hit and run by Kamala Harris, and now we have the assistant to the governor of New York, who is found out to be a Chinese spy. Right. So would these things have come out if they still had the ability to keep these things quiet? They don't even have the ability to silence Facebook as well as they used to. They don't have the ability to, I mean, they're doing pretty good with Google. But I mean, there's a lot of things where they just don't have that ability anymore. So I would say that they are losing.
Exactly.
Yeah. Convinced. Yeah. Aaron says, agreed, Santino. At this point, I'm convinced Q is happening. It's like they've gotten so much stuff right. How many coincidences until it's mathematically impossible, which, you know, kind of came out because of the Q movement and everything.
Exactly.
But, the level of absurdity is undeniable. It is absurd, isn't it? It's some of these things are just so out there. And if Hillary Clinton really had the power that she used to have, then I do believe that a lot of these people, like she would have been taking care of the Kamala issues and stuff like that.
Exactly. Hey, Miss Jenny.
Jenny!
Watch out for the frogs, Jenny. Are you ready?
Yes.
You want to go ahead and read that real quick?
It appears that American gangs are going to target Venezuelan gangs in Aurora, Colorado.
Let's go.
No sound. Well, you can tell we're on fire.
Are the Hells Angels going to Colorado? So I've been riding all day, guys, and I am not a Hells Angel. I'm not with HA. I am with a 1% Club. Here's what I will tell you, guys. Everybody wants to know, is it true? Is it true? Are the Angels going to Colorado? Here's all I'm going to say. If a 1% Club like the Hells Angels were to decide to get involved in whatever's going on in Colorado, it wouldn't be because you got on TikTok and you asked them to do it. No, it wouldn't be because the mayor or some congressman said, hey, can you guys come over here and help us? It's not how it works. The only way on God's green earth that HA or any other 1% Club would be going to Aurora, Colorado to do anything, the only reason they would be doing that is if one of their own got fucked with. Y'all didn't fuck with one of the HAs up there, did you? Ooh, listen. It's really not a good idea. If one of their family members, a good friend of the club, a mother, one of their old ladies, if HA is on their way there, and I'm not HA at all, it's because somebody messed with one of their own. That'd be the only reason they'd do it. And if that happened, if they did that, if they are headed that way, I'm going to just highly recommend that you guys go ahead and clear out. Just whoever it was that did whatever you did to piss off the 1%ers here in America. This is not Venezuela. This is not Brazil. This is not whatever country you came from. Up here, things really are done differently. And you don't want to stand in the way. If you pissed off HA to the point where they got on their motorcycles and they're all headed to Colorado, yeah, now the news won't even talk about it when it's all said and done. Nope. We'll know. People that know will know. But the news won't talk about it. Peace and love. I'm out.
Thoughts?
That I think we kind of touched on some of that stuff, that they're not going to do it for, altruistic reasons, the because of the red, white, and blue or anything. Because then again, they recognize, that's what started a lot of these 1%er gangs, is that they were a bunch of guys that got out of the military after World War II, and they were able to see a lot of the corruption, and they decided to band together. And so it's kind of the mentality has continued on, and they're their own little world, and they do their own thing. And as a matter of fact, it's not like it's God, I don't even know what to say other than the fact that they are what they are. And so they're going out there because there's some interest. If they're going out there, there's some interests that they're going to protect. Because no, you don't want to mess with any of them. They can be great guys. I know that I've met a couple. They stick together, and you know what? You can trust them as long as you don't cross them. It's really that simple. It's kind of like how people should work with each other. Don't screw each other over. Everything will be fine. But hey, whatever, call me crazy. But if they're going out there, I don't think we would hear much about it. And he even said as much.
Yeah, you see what Chachi said?
Chachi says, if Venezuelan gangs messed with Hell's Angels, money guaranteed, they would deal with it. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And there is a huge biker rally going on in Colorado. So they could be
right.
using that as a cover. Who knows?
Yeah. It's, kind of how you move people around. I mean, things happen.
Exactly. Speaking of the Venezuelan gangs, you want to go ahead and read that?
Chicago, Illinois, breaking. A group of 32 armed Venezuelans took over an apartment building in Chicago tonight. Here's the audio of the 911 dispatch call. First, they did this in Aurora, Colorado, and now Chicago. Which city will be next?
Let's go.
I think that's a question we're all asking.
Unit 10-3, I'm citywide person with a gun, 6124 South King Drive. Caller says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. Also, while they're filled, nothing further, zone clear. Hey, I'm sorry, you headed over to the shot putter or to the 6124 on King for the migrants?
On King Drive.
All right, 10-4. There's another available unit arrive at 310. We had multiple calls. First with the gun, 6124 South King. Also came over to disturbance large gathering. Could be 32 Venezuelans trespassing in the building property, showing guns in the courtyard. They have motorcycles in the coreway, all stairwells filled. And nothing further.
Thoughts?
So
I have more too.
It's spreading out. You have more as well? Okay. So the takeovers of property is, happening. Jenny said she was told it was happening there in New York City, and that I could see that. I did see an article where they said that an overwhelming number of the arrests at this point in time from NYPD are illegal immigrants. So they're starting to act up. They're starting to act like it was back in their home. There's a long time between now and the election. So what does this indicate, and what does it lead to? Well, this could be one reason why they would want to declare martial law. But everybody seems to be playing it cool as of right now. But I think this is kind of one of those, you make the first punch. And now they took the first punch, and we're waiting for the sheriffs of the counties to, summon all of the resources that the United States has to bear on something like this. But for some reason, I'm not hearing about stuff like that. Let's see. Didn't we hear something about the governor of Colorado is more inclined to help? But why aren't we hearing about the area being cordoned off and dealt with in post haste, especially now that it has spread to another city within the United States? So that says that it's a very, very large problem, and that it's spread out across at least between Colorado and Chicago. But I believe that so many of us, like Kay pointed out, I could see that happening here. Let's see, that was Jan said that she sees it happen in Louisville, which I could see that happening too. I see it happening in every major city. Not a exciting prospect, but that's the kind of chaos that they're looking for. So we'll see what happens. Keep your powder dry and keep your head on a swivel. But for the most part, we rely on God to provide that divine providence, and we'll see what happens. But certainly not looking for any of that going on. And I'm ready for our government to do its job.
Yeah.
Lightspear says, so much bad news. People need a laugh. Yeah, very true. Yeah, we're ready. We're ready where we're at, says Chachi. Fun fact. Jenny says, fun fact. Today is the anniversary of our flag flying, September 3rd. It is Flag Day. It is Flag Day.
It's not Flag Day.
It's not Flag Day.
It's the anniversary.
Anniversary. Okay, that's right. It's not Flag Day.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Okay, yeah, I was putting things together. Yeah, okay. It happens. Aaron says, if they do it here, I'm sure they'll be dealing with meth, and there are a lot of methed up white boys in this town, hillbilly methed up. They would be feeding Americans food to the coyotes in no time. Yeah. Chachi says, Cook County sheriffs for Chi-Town are not based, in my opinion, other Illinois counties. They are for the most part.
Yeah.
And then Aaron says, as much as I love the idea of the elected sheriff, they are not uncorruptible. And that is correct. I think that that's one of the things that people are going to learn through all of this is all of the elections matter, from local all the way up to federal. Actually, it should be from federal all the way up to local is what the original intent is. And it should go back to that. But we should be very careful about the people that we're picking. And yeah, I think people will pay a lot more attention in the future. Exactly. Especially to local elections.
Exactly. So here's some more.
All right. But wait, there's more.
Unit 10-3 and Citywide, person with a gun, 6124 South King Drive. Caller says 32 Venezuelans are trespassing the building, showing guns in the courtyard, and they have motorcycles in the courtyard as well. All stairwells are filled. Nothing further, zone clear. Hey, I'm sorry, you headed over to the shot better to the 6124 on King for the migrants?
On King Drive.
Alright, 10-4. There's another available unit arrive at 310. We had multiple calls. First with the gun, 6124 South King. Also came over to disturbance large gathering. Could be 32 Venezuelans trespassing in the building property, showing guns in the courtyard. They have motorcycles in the coreway, all stairwells filled. And nothing further.
Please.
No, at least the police showed up in Chicago, unlike in Aurora.
Yeah. Well, I think that the department in Aurora was probably didn't have the resources necessary to deal with something like that. Of course, then again, if they rely on the local populace who was armed, then they would not have that much of a problem.
Well, Colorado's the one that wanted to defund the police.
Well, at least Denver did. And I don't think Aurora is too far off. But Anyway,
You said sorry, Aaron.
let's see. Aaron says that he is sorry. He gets the caller saying they're Venezuelan gangs, but the 911 operators and the cops. This sounds very contrived to me, or him, whatever. And then what's the protocol, I wonder? Call in the National Guard?
Hey, Stephen.
Hey, Stephen, thanks for joining. And I would say that, yeah, it's probably going to be a National Guard thing. It's
Exactly, Aaron.
so, yeah, it would probably need to be the National Guard being ran by the local sheriff would be my guess as the head of that whole thing, understanding, that the military would just be a resource that he would be able to allocate is what I mean by that. Yeah, because, okay, so it was 32 migrants. Whenever you're going to go deal with an entrenched position, you need odds of about 3-1. So they have about 30 people. They need to bring 90 people to bear to be able to overwhelm those who are entrenched in that position.
Hey, Carol.
Hey, Carol. See, so yeah, to deal with the people entrenched in that position. So the people that took over that apartment complex, there's 30 people. You're going to need 90 people to be able to clear it out. And that's just bare minimum. And I'm assuming that you would want to show excessive force for something like that. Now, it really depends if there's still civilians there. I know that in Colorado, they told everybody that they had to get out, I think, as of last night. So that just means it's a free fire zone as far as I'm concerned. I mean, the whole building could probably be cleared out very quickly with the properly trained people. It's kind of a wait and see. I know that Metro out here in Vegas certainly wouldn't play that game. This is their territory, and they know how it's run out here.
Exactly.
And there would be a lot of problems for a lot of people to have things like that start to happen.
Exactly.
So,
Are you ready?
we'll see. Yes, I'm ready.
Ready, Freddie?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Brother Bill.
Hey, Brother Bill. What's going on, man?
Let's see. Warning to Venezuelans.
That's what it says.
Let's go.
All right.
Now a migrant is dead after a shooting outside the Gage Park facility. Alderman Ray Lopez confirmed the 28-year-old man died from his injuries. Police say he was on the sidewalk when an unknown car pulled up and someone inside that car fired shots at the man, hitting him in the head. The alderman says the man was the intended target.
To all Venezuelans in Chicago, this is the warning. If you ain't on no bullshit, stay neutral. Somebody please translate. Stay neutral. If you know somebody that's in your building on bullshit, don't let them run in that building, and don't let nobody see them run in that building. Because once word get out that that's the building that they in, they gonna chop that bitch down. Whatever building, the abandoned building y'all occupying and all that shit, yeah, you better get your food and just stay in the house, because they come out doing some bullshit. Y'all gonna regret that. You're gonna really regret that. So, I don't speak Spanish, so somebody need to translate. I hope they got TikTok that translate, I guess. They can kind of make me seem like I'm speaking Spanish. But anyway, take this like a grain of salt if you like. But this ain't Colorado. This ain't Utah. This ain't none of them places. This is just like where you from. The only difference is y'all use a lot of handgun, old revolvers, and machetes and shit. We got switches. If you're not familiar with what a switch is, we will show you. We don't really be with all the telling and shit. But we will definitely show you what a switch is. So, again, somebody translate. Yeah. Make this known. This ain't like Colorado.
Thoughts?
I think that that's how a lot of this stuff is going to be dealt with. That they're going to deal with it. I think that the gangs are gonna be going at each other for quite some time. It's a power struggle, and this is something that can be kind of seen, and it's something
Hey,
that's
Brother
happened in the past.
Rambo.
Hey, Rambo, what's going on, man? So it's kind of like what happened when the mafia started to lose all of its power. There was a power vacuum, and with that power vacuum, there is a rush to take in that territory, that space. Not saying that the mafia is completely gone or anything, but I'm saying when Don Gotti got brought down, there was a big power vacuum that happened because of that. So as these new gangs move in, there's going to be that power struggle. And this is one of those power struggles. There has been a loss of power or a perceived loss of power somewhere, or a perceived gain in power to be able to overcome the powers that are there. And so, yeah, we're going to see some really interesting gangland kind of stuff. And it was brought up about the 1920s. Like they have, let's see. Oh, it was Aaron. The USA gang seem to be acting as if they have the integrity of the 1920s mafia. Oh, there it is. Thank you, Kay. Yeah, there might be some of that going on because of the way things are ordered here in this country, which I think a lot of people are very, very blind to. But it's out there, and that, like he said, if you don't have anything to do with it, you stay out of it. So we'll just report on it, and yeah, have no desire to stick my nose in any of that so long as it doesn't come to my door.
Exactly. You see what Chachi said?
Chachi says, it's like I mentioned with Pilsen and Little Village in 2020 a while back. Folks don't play games in Chicago. No, they don't play games. There's a lot of places where you can play games. I'm going to say Chicago is one of those towns where you don't want to play around.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it's just one of those things that, you know, these immigrants are gonna F around and find out.
It's interesting.
Yeah. So,
but then again, we'll see how it plays out.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Are the Hells Angels really on their way to Colorado to help take care of the Venezuelan gang that's taking over sections of Aurora? This whole Tren de Agua thing in Colorado has really been blowing up in the media.
Venezuelan gang members have been caught on camera with guns breaking into units. Police now say they're there as well, engaging with residents.
The only thing that I've seen on my feed this morning is people posting videos of bikers saying it's the Hells Angels and that they're on their way to Aurora, Colorado to shut this gang down. But is there any truth to that? Well, the first thing that you need to know is that the Four Corners Motorcycle Rally is happening right now in Colorado. And a lot of these videos people are posting, it's not even the Hells Angels. People don't understand that the Hells Angels don't need to come in from other places. The Hells Angels already have multiple chapters inside of Colorado. And I got a hold of one of my contacts with one of those chapters, and I'm going to tell you what he said directly. He was speaking for his chapter, and he said, we plan to roll up, nothing more, nothing less, which is a very non-committal answer. But the thing that you have to understand is that these organizations are constantly under surveillance and under threat of a RICO Act. Now, each chapter takes votes on the moves that they make before they make them. They have a certain amount of autonomy, even though they are a worldwide organization. There are other chapters from other states who are sending warnings to these Venezuelan gangs to let them know that this is not going to fly in our country.
Do not want men like me and the people that we associate with to descend upon you. If you try to meet them with any type of resistance, you will die. You will die in the street.
I know that most people outside of the MC culture don't understand. These are outlaw MCs, but they still care about their community.
Biker build off. Here we go. Down here building bikes at the clubhouse for the toy run. And excited to see these kids' faces and give them their bikes.
If our government continues to fail in protecting its citizens, you can expect that these are the type of men who will step in and protect their communities.
Thoughts?
Now that's very different. I do know that they do great things for the community, and I'm glad that that was brought up, because I know that they're very active in anti-child abuse kind of things, HA specifically. So, I mean, like I said, they're good people. Just don't mess with them. But in terms of protecting the community, certainly the community that's right around them, yeah, I can see that. But I really believe that there would have been some kind of something that happened that would make that call kind of come out. And then again, a lot of this information that we're getting could be rumors about Hell's Angels because we don't have any real information. And that's something we need to remember. A lot of this is just really speculation in the end. We know that there's gangs that have taken over. And then apparently the police are going there as well. So what's really going on? And good question. I know that I've been asking around, seeing if I can't find somebody that has a friend or family that's local in that area. So that way I could get some other kind of information, but I haven't had any luck yet. But that doesn't mean that we won't find out any real information. Chachi says that's a mean scar on that dude's head. Yeah, they're a bunch of tough dudes.
Yeah,
don't want to mess with them. Rambo says BS. The good stuff is PR. I rode with a club. They are not good. Oh, okay. I see what you're saying. We got outlaws by you. Okay. Well, I'm just messing everything up tonight.
Oh,
Is it Thursday? Oh my God, we got 2 more days of this. All right. Jan says, my late husband worked with many and some of the best people I ever been around. Lots of construction workers, lawyers, etc.
Guess it all depends.
It all depends.
Yeah.
It all depends.
We have a friend that was with a group for a while.
Yeah.
So anyway, you ready?
Yeah.
Let's pray. I think we need some prayer.
Yeah, we need something good for a change. I think
Let's
Lightsphere told us that a while ago. Ready?
God is saying to you today, I will put you together in front of those who broke you. Don't think it wasn't seen by me. You will not only recover, but you will flourish. In the places where you felt abandoned and defeated, you will stand strong and victorious. Remember, my child, my plans for you are to prosper you and not to harm you, to give you hope and a future. Let your heart be at peace, for I am with you in every step of this journey, mending every fracture, healing every wound, and restoring every lost hope. Where you were once shattered, now you will shine like a beacon, reflecting my love and strength. Trust in me, for I am your faithful protector, your healer, and your redeemer. Do not dwell on the past or the pain it brought. Instead, lift your eyes to the horizon, where my promises unfold. You will see that my grace is sufficient for you, even in your weakest moments. Let your spirit rejoice, for you are being rebuilt stronger than ever, not just to withstand the trials, but to help others who walk in similar paths. If you receive this message, comment, "Thank you, God."
Thoughts?
Okay, so it was a lot of good Bible quotes. Hold on, I'm trying to remember the specific one that hit me right off the bat. And it was that, if I remember correctly, it was about preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies, and that God is going to flip all of these negative things at some point in time. And I can say from personal experience in my path, since I have started, really going into and trying to draw closer to God by reading the Bible and trying to, see who I am and how I can be more Christ-like by following his teachings. I will say that my life has improved significantly. Have I been prepared to feast in front of the people that, made me mad or sad before? No, but I'm not really looking for that in the end. What I am looking for, though, is to get on with my life. And I think that that's where a lot of people are at this point in time, with everything as ridiculous it is around the world, in the world around us, and within our own nation around us, is that we just want to get on with our life. life, because we don't want to have to deal with these kinds of ridiculous things, understanding that that's what got us here to begin with. So we're being forced to confront and deal with these things now. And there's a lot of patience being exercised, and we're waiting a lot, and we're putting a lot of hope in President Trump and the election cycle and everything. But I think that that's where the faith comes in. And so that's why the tables will be flipped. These people who have been part of this grand swampy thing that's been going on for so long, those people are going to be brought down a notch. And we, the rest of us who've just been trying to get along, go along to get along, we will be given the opportunities that were stolen from us and given to those people. And so it's not that we're going to be showered with gold. If that happens, whatever, okay, fine. But what it does is it gives us that chance to really be the nation that we are deep down inside in our hearts. And we're trying to find our hearts again. And it's that soul of America that we are finding to bring out again. But we got to get through all of the chaff to get to the wheat. And it's just going to take a little bit of time.
Exactly.
Thanks, brother.
Thank
you. Be safe out there,
Rambo.
man.
Be safe. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so Preston is responding to this comment. This was not an Arlington event. It was a private event that you coordinated and then cut an ad to make it look like the Biden-Harris were no-shows. You put the families in this position.
It's always somebody else's fault. Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Well, hey, Maria. I can see that you woke up in a good mood this morning. So let's talk about it. Now, Maria here seems to think that I am responsible for coordinating the private event at Arlington that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris didn't attend. Let me just say, the event was coordinated and requested by the families, as you now know. And there was absolutely no political side to that event whatsoever until your candidate, Kamala Harris, decided to politicize 13 dead soldiers and demonize 13 Gold Star families. And I never made an ad about Kamala Harris and Joe Biden not being there. They simply weren't there. But I will tell you, Joe Biden and Kamala Harris not only weren't there last Monday, but they've not been there for the past 3 years. You see, that's the problem that we all have, is that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, specifically Kamala Harris being the last one in the room the day that these 13 soldiers' lives were taken, has never picked up the phone to call those family members. Now, how can you, as an American, if you are, sit there and support a candidate for president who absolutely disgraces Gold Star families, as she did this weekend, and refuses to even pay them a phone call? I will say this, I didn't put the families in any position. The families spoke for whom they wanted to be there with them, standing by their side. And that person was none other than President Donald Trump, and of course his staff. I will tell you, it was Democrats who tried to stop that and deny a Gold Star family's wishes. But of course, it was Speaker Johnson who made sure that it happened. I don't know if you have any Gold Star families in your family. I hope you don't. But let me tell you something. When a Gold Star family requests something that is within reason, you don't deny it, no matter your political affiliations, no matter your personal beliefs. Arlington National Cemetery belongs to those Gold Star families and those fallen soldiers, not to you, I, or any other American. Now, Maria, if you think that Americans are going to forget Kamala Harris's actions this weekend by putting out a statement attacking these Gold Star families come November 5th, make no mistake, girl, we aren't living in the same world. Much love. God bless. I hope you end up in a better mood.
All right. So what's the real deal about what's going on? And what I'm seeing that they're doing.
I agree, Lightspear.
Okay, Lightspear says only Yeshua can get us out of this mess, not an election period. I understand. I understand exactly what the source of it is. And I agree with you. but it looks like it's how it's going to play out peacefully, at least in our own way. This is the best way we can see it happening, but we always know that God has a better way. Okay, so back to the whole Donald Trump going to the cemetery to honor the fallen service members. The 13
the Biden-Harris administration has never even said their names.
Haven't even said their names. So that's what I'm getting at, is what this all boils down to is they have been found wanting. They are lacking severely in doing the right things that are supposed to be done by the leaders of the country who sent these people out there who died because of their decisions, and they don't care to spend time or even say their names to honor the people who sacrificed themselves because of their piss poor decisions. So this is PR. This is damage control. And how do you do damage control when somebody has a better opinion? Well, the first thing you do is attack them and make them, or when somebody else is winning in the public relations battle, the best thing you can do is to attack them and make it seem like they're doing awful things. So that way the attention goes off of you and the fact that you have been negligent this entire time. And that is merely just to take the heat off of you and to get the conversation about Trump, as opposed to, if they cared, then where the hell were you for the past 3 years? And why haven't you done something about it? Because these people died because of your decisions. Go back to the chain of command and the rules of engagement. It's their fault and they know it. And so they're going to do the same old tired tricks, and they're going to put it out there that it's somebody else's fault. It's always somebody else's fault.
Always.
Gaslighting, narcissism 101.
Yep.
So really, the problem is them. I'm sorry that y'all suck. Maybe you should get good or get out of the way, because you can't lead. You clearly don't want to follow. So just get out of the damn way.
There you go. You ready?
Yes.
We got Sandra.
All right.
Listen carefully, because this is important. This is why you must research.
New details this afternoon. Knoxville police say a man is behind bars after he assaulted a person with a pickaxe. It happened at a home on Morrell Road in West Knoxville Saturday morning. Officials say 26-year-old Jansen Hernandez Moran is now charged with attempted second-degree murder. Police say both men knew each other. It does not appear to be a random attack. According to the arrest warrant, the victim was found with the axe in his skull. He was taken to UT Medical Center and is in critical condition.
Conveniently, they left out one key thing. Oh my heavens, what is this? Surely not another illegal immigrant. Of course, I would have never known if I wasn't the nosy bitch that I am and didn't go look up the mugshot. Take this as a lesson to always do your own research whenever you see anything on the news.
Thoughts?
So it's really that simple. It's a different variation of the same trick that they've been doing forever. Whenever the press omits the race, we know that it's somebody other than white, because that's counter to the narrative that the news is always trying to push, because that makes the race baiting happen whenever it's somebody who's not white. And then their definition of white has expanded recently.
Oh, yeah.
And I found that interesting, but hey, whatever, that's how the news does it. So the thing that we learned to do is to find out, okay, what do we really know about this person? Because there is a matter of public record. So we go look at the public records and they give us the true information. At least the government's telling us the truth for a change. How nice is that? So I know nobody saw your eye roll. Anyway, so This applies to everything, and it's really that simple. And I think that that's what people need to understand who don't know, like, do your own research is a pretty vague term. And so maybe something like this will help people understand how you can do your own research and what you do need to research. So this is what the news says. There's a gap in information. Okay, the first step in doing your own research is figuring out where the gaps of information are. Then, after you find out what the gap of information is, find out through the vast resources that are available to each and every one of us. Some of you may be holding your phone in your hand right now. That is the vast resource. It's the Great Library of Alexandria, and it has all of the information. So it can be that simple. And you go to wherever this arrest was, and you can say, an arrest search or whatever, the police blotter, and you get the information. Poof, there it is. So that's how people can do their own research. It's nothing that requires going to get some super secret squirrel browser to hide you from the government. Like, what was that movie? I think it was Gene Hackman and Will Smith, where he's in the Faraday cage, the copper Faraday cage.
Enemy of the state.
Enemy of the state. That's what it was. So enemy in the state. You don't have to build a Faraday cage. We don't do any of that. If they hate us, they're going to find us, because I just don't feel like spending all that time trying to figure out how to hide.
Care.
It's like, I'm sure that they have plenty of other fish to try to fry right now.
We're in Vegas all the time. I don't care.
Yeah. It's just like, here we are. Anyways,
Here we are.
so I got sidetracked. It's that easy to do research.
Yeah, it really is. Exactly.
Enemy of the state and Faraday cages are real. I believe that they're real. And I believe that these are some very real things. But I think that if I was a team member of Q, I would need to have the Faraday cage and a completely, concealed everything. But I know that the watch that I wear, that the phone that I use that I don't have with me or whatever. Anyways, those are spy devices that I carry with me everywhere. So clearly I'm not trying to hide much of anything.
Exactly.
But then again, I'm not trying to do anything that's going to piss anybody off other than talk shit on the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's plenty of people doing worse.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah.
Our favorite person.
Oh, God, why?
Because we need to.
Hold on.
Okay, let's go.
We have some massive breaking news. Donald Trump's nephew, Fred Trump, has come out and endorsed Kamala Harris.
Well, Harry, if Donald Trump's nephew not supporting him is massive breaking news, what would you call Tim Walz's brother not supporting him? In case you were unaware, Tim Walz has a brother named Jeff Walz. And this dude thinks his brother is an idiot. And he thinks the Democrats are fascist pieces of shit. See, Michael here said, have a talk with your brother. He responded, haven't spoke to him in 8 years. I'm 100% opposed to all his ideology. My family wasn't given any notice that he was selected and denied security in the days after. Other people also told him, get on stage with Trump and endorse him, help save this country. He said, I've thought hard about doing something like that. I'm torn between that and just keeping my family out of it. The stories I could tell. Oh, Jeff, we badly want to hear this. Not the type of character you want making decisions about your future. I can't wait for these stories to come out. Because from what I know about Tim Walz, we don't want him running the country. We don't want him having any part in running the country. But I sure as fuck want to hear these stories from his brother. And I have no doubt that before November 5th, we're going to see this man on stage with President Donald Trump. And hopefully he'll give us an inside peek into who the real Tim Walz is.
Thoughts?
It just struck me. This is how they drive the news. It is in reaction to the things that are coming out that they don't know how to deal with. So Walz's brother comes out. So who can they find to point out and then get that story out there first? So that way you can drive the narrative, therefore supposedly chopping the knees off of the real story that they were trying to get ahead of. I mean, this is, redirection 101 kind of stuff. Yeah. But yeah, exactly. It's so scripted, and it's some of the most childish things and the way they go about doing it, because in the end, it's I'm rubber, you're glue, bounces off of me and sticks to you is all that they have, really. And it's like they don't even have anything comparable. And It's just who they are. We know that they don't have policies that anybody cares about, that any economist with 2 brain cells that are actually working would say that everything that they present is a terrible idea. It's going to be billions and trillions of dollars more taxes. So they can't rely on that. They can't rely on their stellar record that they've had for the past 4 years of curbing crime and getting rid of inflation.
3.5.
You know, well, whatever. Yeah. So
Hey, Turber.
that's what they have. They just have that. They have smoke and mirrors and bread and circuses, and
Exactly.
the bread's running out, and the circuses suck.
Exactly.
What's up, Turber? How you doing, man?
Ready?
Yeah.
Still talking about Tampon Tim.
You served, and I did too, with Tim Walz in Congress, but you've had the privilege of being a neighboring governor of Tim Walz. Tell us what you've seen. What kind of leader is he?
Well, he's a bully, and he pushes mandates down on his people. In fact, we've seen a mass exodus of people out of Minnesota that have sought refuge in South Dakota, and they've come here to get away from what he's done to their families, how he's devastated their businesses by shutting them down, raising their taxes, increasing their costs, that they can no longer cash flow and provide for their families. So listen, this is a completely different Tim Walz than what we served with, Sean. When I served with him in Congress, he cared about people having their Second Amendment rights. He cared about giving people flexibility and freedom. We sponsored legislation together. He was from a more conservative district of Minnesota, but he completely changed when he became governor. We think we saw the real Tim Walz that he had been hiding for several years. He's got ties to companies in China. You don't go to China 30 times to be a tourist, to look at the sites. You go there because you've got an affiliation with their government. You go there and you take students there to learn from them. If you think communism is the way to better protect people, which is what he truly does believe. And he's got ties to companies in China, such as the Beijing Genomic Institute, that he's funneled money to. And that company has ties to communist and CCP leaders. So, you know, he truly is someone that wants to undermine the United States of America. We cannot trust him by putting him in the White House.
Well, you're right.
Thoughts?
Wow. He's just seemed like such a nice guy. I never would have thought that he would have done this one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything positive about this dude whatsoever?
I don't think so. I
Like,
really don't.
I
You
can't.
saw how he grabbed his son.
Yeah,
I mean, I
yeah.
think he's just a
Thank you for bringing
complete
that one up.
utter douchebag.
He is a douchebag. Yeah, exactly, Jan. He's blackmailed like others from China, or blackmailed, to China.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that? She had said something here earlier. I think I passed it. Oh, geez. Let's see. Oh, there it is. Thank you. One of John McCain's son is so upset Trump was at Arlington mourning the fallen 13 that he has now switched his party to Democrat and is supporting Kamala Harris. Okay. Yay. Yeah, good for you.
I agree with Jenny.
Yeah. Jan, so many crybabies. I highly doubt that the person was anything that remotely resembled what a real Republican is supposed to be, let alone anything that would resemble remotely what a real Democrat is supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he was swampy, just like his uncle. And I wonder if he took trips out there to go visit ISIS like his uncle did.
Exactly.
Yeah, probably positive for the Mpox.
You see what F. Clone said?
Yeah, he positively likes horse
stuff,
essence.
Yeah. He's just disgusting.
Like, what is his redeeming quality that he just...
You see what Bethany said?
Not even one thing. Yes, I'm yelling. And that's fine. I know, because you had to suffer through that.
Yeah.
And you're still suffering because of the policies that he had in place when he was governor. Hello, governor.
Exactly. So here's more on the douchebag.
Why? He's like, I think the Antichrist would have more appealing qualities.
Let's go.
Okay.
Latest reading I saw was almost 60% of Americans are invested in the market, whether it's a pension, a 401k, and yet the Democrat VP nominee, Tim Walz, has zero money in investments. What do you make of someone trying to run the country with zero investment acumen?
I didn't know anything about
the VP candidate, Tim. And so I did some digging last week. I got the data last Friday. He is not a good manager. If you look at his stewardship of his state, Minnesota, it's been not good. And I'll tell you how I measure it. People say, oh, you're partisan, you're partisan. No, I'm not. I'm looking at the track record of an individual who came into a state and wiped out job creation. He wiped out job creation in professional, in manufacturing, in accounting, in every subcategory you look at. Those jobs moved to South Dakota and North Dakota. The South Dakota job rate right now is 4 times that of Minnesota. Minnesota only creates jobs in services that are funded by the government, healthcare and social services. Every other sector is in decline. He's also added a surcharge of 1%, 100 basis points, on top of 9.8% taxes on individuals that are retiring. And of course, they're leaving the state in droves. He's the best governor for Texas, for Florida, for North and South Dakota, but not for Minnesota.
And that's exactly right. That's where they all went, Kevin.
Thoughts?
He also spent all the Rona money. Thank you, Jan. Yeah. So Tim Walz is so bad that a Canadian businessman doesn't like him. Like, wow. Like, how do you and he was kind of upset. It's like, how do you piss off a Canadian? I didn't know they got mad like that.
I know.
Wow.
I know.
Good job, Tim.
I know.
That's impressive. You upset a Canadian. Got to take a lot of fixing to fix this state. I hear you, Bethany.
I know, Bethany.
I know,
sweetie.
But we gotta go through the pain first, so that way everybody can wake up.
But there's good people like you there, sweetie.
And
remember that.
And that's the important part is that
because you're amazing.
That the people are staying, to deal with the stuff from their hometown, from their home state. That's where y'all are from.
Yeah. You ready?
Yeah.
Got stuff on Kamala.
Oh, God. This is...
I know.
Kamala Harris's campaign is outspending Donald Trump's campaign in the lead up to the election, and it's not even close. But when you look on an individual state level, it gets really bad for Donald Trump.
Harry's not telling you is that Kamala is spending more than Donald Trump because she has to. She's losing in the polls pretty dramatically.
So true.
Maybe one of the biggest reasons is because she's running a campaign of joy without any policy.
We need Kamala Harris, the president of joy.
And let's not forget, Kamala is spending more because she's paying influencers.
I got paid $20,000 to come to the DNC.
Yeah, they'll just deny it. They'll just deny and deny and deny. And then lie to you and say that Kamala Harris was a good president. She's had 3 fucking years to do something. She hasn't done shit. I hope for the best that you guys wake up. Seriously.
Thoughts?
So his point is that Kamala's winning because she spends more money?
Yeah.
Oh, that's what we need. As president of the United States, somebody who spends more money. What kind of argument is that, sir? It's a terrible argument. Also, they outspent Trump when he won, and they outspent him, well, every time. So, yeah, not a big deal. It's just that nobody likes you if you didn't have some giant propaganda machine that was supporting you. And even that's failing because people don't like them either. Y'all did it to yourselves. Fire Nate says, the joy of the Lord is my strength. Amen.
Amen. So this is why she's having to spend so much money. You ready?
Okay.
Because it'll give you more information.
Okay. Well, that's fine. It doesn't mean anything.
Let's go.
The fact that she spends more, so what?
Yeah.
So we have a lot of polls coming out this morning showing that Trump's up by a point or two across swing states. Trafalgar, I know Rasmussen. You're saying that Kamala Harris, do not be shocked when Kamala Harris winds up a week from now after the debate at where Biden was. Where you're looking at 5 and 10 point gaps in swing states. And can you talk us through that?
I think that
Kamala could do better in national polling and even in the national vote than Biden was gearing up to do, because there are just certain really deep blue areas where she's going to, it's not a core walking corpse anymore. So they're going to get off their couch and they're going to vote, or they're going to mail in a ballot. However, that still will not help her with the voters that Biden was suffering with in like the northern Midwest and the Sun Belt states. They thought when they got in this race that their path would be through the Sun Belt and then plucking off, of course, what they thought at the time. Pennsylvania would be the easiest, but they even know in their own polling, she's down in Pennsylvania. And I'm going to blow the lid off of it. I mean, if I'm wrong, Kamala, you can release your poll right now and you can put it out on Twitter and show everybody that you're up in your polling, but that's not the case. So you can't do that, right? So you would drop it and it would say what? Trump plus almost 2, right? Because just saw it. So anyway, basically I'm telling you, they know this. And, there's like an environment that was giving her, it's like a high, and the response bias bloated her numbers. And when this dust settles, I mean, she could have a great debate performance, Benny, but the truth is debates don't really have a tremendous impact. There are 2 that will be added to the history books where they did. One was Ronald Reagan, of course, in his single debate against Jimmy Carter. And that's something that people like me and Sophologists talk about all the time. But the other one is going to be Joe Biden, just having a complete mental breakdown on TV because it was an Emperor Has No Clothes moment. Look at the interview she did with Dana, whatever, Bash from CNN. If they taped almost an hour worth of footage, you're in this business. If they taped almost an hour worth of footage, all right, and they're only going to release 30 something minutes, and those 30 something minutes are awful because they and Democrats really felt like in order to stop what I'm saying from happening in a couple of weeks, she needed to knock out CNN interview. She didn't put it up. How bad is the rest of that interview if that's the section we got, Benny? You know what I'm saying? Like, think about that for a second. How bad is it?
Release the tapes. Release the tapes. Yeah.
So that makes my confidence level a lot less that she's going to go out there and knock this out of the park when it comes to the debate. She would need something. Even Biden was considered to have done significantly better, but what happened in the post-Labor Day environment? Trump just kept closing and closing. He's a very strong closer. I mean, yes, past his prologue, but it doesn't necessarily it doesn't guarantee that past will be prologue. But damn, I mean, if you're the Democratic nominee, do you not want to be 10 points ahead of Donald Trump right now? You know how this goes. You know how this closes. By mid-September, your lead is fading. By October, you got your push polls and your Biden plus 17s that are trying to still give people something to snort up their nose, right, to keep them going another couple of weeks. But it doesn't happen. And then come Election Day, this huge swarm of people will come to the polls, crawling across broken glass. They'll walk over the hot lava just to get to the damn voting booth to vote for this guy. So yeah, that's what I'm telling you is going to happen in a couple weeks. Mark my words.
Thoughts?
So their polls. We know that their polls are lies. We know that the information that they give is out. It's curated. I guess is the word that I'm going to use. And they play games. There's a pattern to it where they start out super high and then it comes down low as it gets closer, and then they start creeping back up, and then they just become a blowout, and no use for anybody that's going to vote for the people that they don't want. There's no use in you going out to vote. Your vote doesn't count. If it doesn't matter, of course they're not going to say your vote doesn't count, but they're implying that it doesn't matter. So no use, and they're trying to take the heart away from the people further west to get motivated to go out there and vote. That's part of their psychological game. So I expect to see all this. Yeah, she has a little bit more excitement, but this is part of the game that they play. Just it's what it is. It's the same old tired crap. It's like, I guess it still works for some people.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why.
Exactly.
Because it's like Groundhog Day.
I know. You ready?
Yeah.
Holy crap, America. Kamala Harris and her campaign is in absolute free fall right now. They are literally collapsing. Just like I told you they would. She's having her Michael Dukakis moment. Why? Because Kamala Harris is the least skilled politician to ever run for president. She's terrible at this. And this is what happens when you allow a bunch of 21, 22-year-olds to run all over platforms pretending to be your surrogates, and then you take advice from them. You got to see what's happening on Kamala Harris's X page right now after the most ill-advised post I think any person on the planet has ever made. And back on July 28th, I told you exactly what was going to happen. And for you Gen Zers who don't know who Michael Dukakis is, just sit back and watch what happens to Kamala Harris, and you'll understand exactly who Michael Dukakis is, because that's who Kamala Harris is. And the fact is, the Democrat Party knows it. They know damn well what they're getting into bed with, and they know what's going to happen in November. And this is the reason why they are trying so hard to convince you that every lie that they've been telling you about Donald Trump is true, because they're scared to death that Kamala Harris is the new Michael Dukakis. Now, what I'm going to show you is a screen recording of me scrolling through Kamala's X page, the post that she made tonight, where she thought it would be a good idea to politicize Gold Star families and try to score cheap political points. She's getting wrecked. Now watch this. This is the post that she put out today, a couple of hours ago. And I switched this to most recent. There are literally thousands and thousands and thousands of messages just like this. I didn't come across a single message of support for Kamala Harris in any of this. It got to the point where I just had to start scrolling through it just so I could try to find something positive. Look at that. You should have kept your mouth shut. Look at that. This is crazy. Totally fake. Look at this. She is just about finished. This is what Michael Dukakis looks like in 2024. Look at this. Look at this. Look, it just keeps going and going and going and going. It just keeps going. It doesn't stop. Look at this. And this is happening even faster than I thought it would. I thought it would be the debates that would actually do her in, because once she starts talking, people are going to remember just how bad she is at this. But even I completely underestimated Kamala Harris's ability to F things up. This is her Michael Dukakis moment.
Thoughts?
So the Michael Dukakis moment, it's probably one of the more funny things that that has just not gone away. It's never gone away. I'm trying to pull the image up. And if y'all don't know exactly what happened with Michael Dukakis, he went on a tank for a photo op, and he actually put the helmet on backwards, and that kind of sank him because it kind of shows that he's, you know, not the brightest bulb, and well, he just kind of looked goofy anyway, and just anyway. So I feel bad for that TC right there. Anyway, so yeah, she has all of that potential to have something that's that jump the shark moment. You put the helmet on backwards and you look like a fool. And the press has done pretty good about keeping that away. But I have a feeling that something like that's going to happen between now and election day that's going to absolutely tank her. There will be some photos somewhere of her doing something stupid, and that's going to be, that's going to be the end of her. I think that that's how they write this part out of the script.
Mm-hmm.
F. Clen says, kind of messed up that they would have done better running AOC. It is kind of messed up that they would have been better off running AOC. But she seemed to be like she was trying to set up for something a little bit different. And the last thing I heard is she was actually making some kind of sense, which is kind of scary. So I have no idea what they're doing with that character either. Chachi says, when the cabal lost control of Twitter, they have truly lost any remnants of their control. Yeah, I would have to agree with that. Twitter was the thing that was kind of holding all of their stuff together. I mean, these other social media platforms, they were there and they were holding on, but for some reason they just didn't have that power. And I find that to be very interesting. But it definitely shows that that was the chess move of chess moves to try to take Twitter, because, well, now all these people are coming back that got banned and just weren't going to be a part of Twitter. And now they're there. It's so the Americans are talking, but kind of karmic if you think about it, because that's what they used to overthrow all sorts of leaders that were in place during that Arab summer of love that we had. If y'all remember back to that one during the oh so stable Obama years. Aaron says, F. Clinton, they would have done better running a baked potato. Yeah,
Dukakis did lose big
Oh,
time.
he lost so bad. And I think that, yeah, we'll see something like that again. Skunk says, no, instead we get Tim the Pudwhacker. Yeah. At least AOC has a good pair of communist TI ... ellipsis.
You know what he's saying.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes.
You want to read this right here?
And Barack Obama.
No, down here.
Oh, Tulsi Gabbard says Cabal of Democrat Elite that runs White House today will stay if Kamala wins. If Kamala wins, there. I thought there was more words on the video.
The troubling part about all this is it's not even people who we vote for. When you look at what happened when President Biden had that infamous debate with President Trump, it exposed the reality that many of us have known for a long time, which is that President Biden has not been the guy calling the shots. He has not been the guy making the decisions, nor has it been Kamala Harris, for that matter, nor will it be if she is elected president. It is this cabal of, the Democrat elite, the woke warmongers, made up of the likes of Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama and, Tony Blinken and Jake Sullivan and, people who are in the military industrial complex, people who profit from us being in a constant state of war. It is those in the administrative state, in the national security state, who derive more authorities and ability to take away our liberty when we are in a heightened state of crisis or war. It is their friends and billionaires and people in media who all derive their power from being able to have a figurehead that essentially they can control. And the most troubling part about, there's so many things wrong with this, of course, but really at the most fundamental level, you look at, our country is the oldest democracy in the world, but the reality of a truly functioning and thriving democracy that has brought to life the vision that our founders had for us, that we really have a government of, by, and for the people, and that we have the ability and responsibility, for that matter, to ensure that the government we have only exists with the consent of the governed. That becomes very hard to do, to hold people accountable when the person that you voted for is certainly not the one making the decisions.
All right.
Thoughts?
My computer just went on the fritz. Okay, that was weird. Okay, at least I have a screen again.
That's Tulsi Gabbard, Aaron.
It's Rogue from Marvel.
Stop it.
Anyway, so so Tulsi Gabbard is a big threat to them, and I want to get this out because I think that this is probably one of the most important things. Is that she shows the coexistence that we were talking about before. Yes, Aaron, she said democracy, but she's also talking to the people that follow her. She's not going to change her vernacular because that's what the truth is. She's been a Democrat for a long time. And so the people that follow her are used to the word democracy, and she's going to continue to use that until the people get educated, and then she'll slowly this is what I see happening, is that she'll slowly transition into saying republic moving forward.
I hope.
Yeah. So Tulsi Gabbard is a big threat to them. And I had actually seen something, a Kim Clement thing where they said that a woman was going to rise and that was.
We're going to play that.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess I need to stop watching TikTok at all. Anyways, yeah. Well, then why don't we get to that? Or what's next? Or was that not next? I have no idea.
That's not next.
That's not next. Anyways, Tulsi Gabbard's a big threat to them. Them losing Tulsi Gabbard is huge. And I think that their goose is cooked and they know it. There's nothing they can do about it. Aaron says the people that follow her save their own farts in a jar too to smell them later. I mean, probably not.
Oh, no, they could.
I mean, they could, but I'm
Who
not making that
knows?
kind of judgment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah.
Kamala's debate prep. Let's go.
Well, Harry's sister just messed up and revealed Kamala Harris campaign's debate strategy, and it's worse than you think it is. Wait till the end.
Kamala Harris has started preparing for the debate against Donald Trump.
Harry, you mean just like how you bragged about Joe Biden doing 3 90-minute mock debates per day at Camp David for a week straight before the Trump debate? Got it.
And one of her main plans is to get under his skin during the debate and annoy him.
How is she going to do that when the mics are muted? You know, just like Joe Biden demanded before the last debate. Oh, here's you in the next video.
Kamala Harris is now calling out Donald Trump for wanting to keep the microphones muted at the presidential debate that's upcoming.
It was the Biden-Harris campaign that wanted this originally in the last debate, but they didn't realize how much it would hurt them more than it would help them. When originally Trump couldn't hold back his comments when the other candidate would speak in previous debates. But continue.
But the Harris campaign has not yet accepted these rules because they want to unmute the microphones for the entire debate. And so in response to this, Kamala Harris said Donald Trump is surrendering to his advisors who won't allow him to debate with a live microphone. If his own team doesn't have confidence in him, the American people definitely can.
Harry, if Kamala's team doesn't have confidence in her representing her own values, then how can we have confidence in her? It's because she can't deliver on her own policies because she has none. She is only running on being anti-Trump and needs to incite him with the tax because she has nothing to offer. No policy, no leadership. So Harry, what are you afraid of? Maybe you know that Kamala will struggle to hold her own without trying to make Trump seem like a bully for clapping back at her lies. Got it. Hit the follow.
Thoughts?
So her strategy is to be annoying, to piss off Trump.
Mm-hmm.
Does she think that she has that kind of power?
Yeah.
I can't imagine that. F. Clen says the power of the cackle can't be defeated by muting. And that's really all she's got is she's got the Fran Drescher. And that's about it. As annoying as that is, it's not going to be enough to get under his skin as much as it will get under everybody else's skin for being forced to listen to that for a good couple of hours. Oh, God.
Exactly.
Anyways, Aaron says Harry is afraid his checks won't cash if he speaks out. Of course, his checks won't cash if he speaks out. Exactly. He seems to be quite content where he's at and doesn't seem to be backing off in the slightest. If he had any kind of inkling that he was doing something wrong, I would hope that he would at least try to make it more ridiculous than he is.
Yeah.
Jan says she wants them open so that she can say Trump hurt her as a woman to hair with the nation. You, John. No, I'm not. Fine. I apologize to Fran Drescher, even though it was a character's voice.
There you go. You ready?
Yeah.
I come across some weird stuff on my For You page, but I don't know if y'all seen this. Have y'all seen that astronomers have found 60 Dyson spheres? Look up what that is first, because it was just like a theory at one point, and our civilization is nowhere near being able to make a Dyson sphere, okay? And what they look like, y'all, are biblically correct angels. I'll if I can, because it usually deletes my voice if I try to put a picture at the end anymore. But just look up a Dyson sphere and what a biblically correct angel looks like. Now, I know all the theories that's out there about space and the Earth and all that, but why are we finding the Dyson sphere at this particular moment in time? And it looks like biblically correct angels or a very advanced civilization, and they have found 60. Okay, whatever. Just go look it up because I think it's nuts. It's crazy, right?
Thoughts?
So it's fascinating, and I don't know why I don't know why I had never put this one together before. But just in case you were interested, this is what science says a Dyson sphere looks like. And then this is how the Bible describes, I can't remember which angel it is, but I know that it is one of the angels and it is described in this manner. Isn't that very curious? So is this a way in which that they're going to try to translate the alien into the Bible angels and stuff like that? Is this a pathway forward to somehow connect science and the Bible together, like science was originally created for, to understand God's creation, so that way we could do it better? Was, if I'm not mistaken, what science was originally all about. So it would make sense that as the pendulum swings and we get away from this atheistic version of science, and it'll probably swing back to a more godly version of science, or at least a science that allows the concept of a creator, that, you know, that the scientists aren't the greatest things that were ever created in the universe, that maybe they were created by something even greater than them. So the humility in science would be nice. But this is certainly a way in which to connect the two of them. And it's just kind of throwing that one out there.
Exactly.
So overpriced plastic. Oh, talking about something else.
Yeah.
Okay.
It bounced.
I don't know if they will translate, but they're definitely going to trans something. Yes, they are going to trans something. Demons are fallen angels.
Mhm.
Yes, they are.
Yep. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
So remember I was telling you about the guy who looked up, you can look up people's followers and stuff like that.
Okay.
Well, here we go.
Here we
I
go.
told you I'd get it for you.
Okay.
I'm about to prove how a certain creator is buying followers. I'm going to show you the tools you can use and what it looks like. First off, go to Social Blade. Do your little drop down and go to TikTok. Type in the creator you want information about, and then their information pops up. Funny, that's an even number. And you'll start getting all these metrics. Notice it's down 200%, minus 100,000. But notice these spikes. We'll come back to this. Even this is down almost 100%. But as you see, in one day, 100,000 fell off. And a daily average of 3,333 are leaving his page. But you can see for the longest time, look here, look, like just gaining hundreds and 200s of thousands of followers in single days, flat lines, but then look, there's another 800,000 follower jump. You see this, how this is happening? You see the pattern here, and then this big 600,000 follower jump in one day. Let me say that 600,000 followers in one day. Now I'm going to show you what it looks like when someone's buying likes. 25 million likes in the blink of an eye. Are you starting to see? Here's another graph. Whole flat line. Oh man, $100,000 in the blink of an eye, but then it starts to fall, but still. Oh, here we go again. There's a spike to a straight drop off. Spikes to straight drop offs. Those spikes is when they buy the views, likes, and subscribers, and the company they buy them from delivers. They're all bot accounts. Now you can also buy comments. You can buy comments on other people's videos. You lay out the structure of what the comment you want to these companies. And if you don't believe me, Google all this. There's ads for buying all of this. But once you lay out the criteria of what you want the comment to say, then it randomly generates comments and delivers them to the accounts you want it to. Like, he's not getting canceled, all from private accounts that you can't interact with. And then when you comment to them, they don't comment back. See, all these people are saying numbers matter. They sure do. And when you've been doing this for 10 years, you know what these numbers mean. And now I'm going to show you what it looks like on a normal page, like my friend Conservative Ant's page. This is what it looks like when your growth is organic. You see that? How those charts, and it's just a normal constant growth of, 600 followers, 1,300 followers. This is what you consider normal growth, not spikes and declines, spikes and declines. Do you get it? Do you know now why this creator I'm talking of has 5.2 million and it never moves? It's because most of them are bots. The more you know.
Thoughts?
Well, got an education on that one, didn't we? Huh. So, yeah, it's not a surprise that some of these larger creators spend money on that. Good for them. I hope that they feel like they're big shots because they paid for all those. But other than that, that it's living a lie, and that lie will only last so long before just kind of falls apart. I mean, it's shown time and time again, but people still decide that that's the path they're going to take. That's for them. It's if people are going to watch us, so be it. If we piss people off, not trying to, but if it happens, it happens. Just be you. And if that means that millions and millions upon millions of people don't want to watch your show, well, that's fine, or get better, work on your craft. But to buy follows, to what end? How is that going to help? What's that going to do for you?
Exactly. Oh, goodness. You ready?
Yeah.
Kim Clement. Now you can quit holding your thought.
Oh, thank you. I forgot what it was.
God says, listen to me. As the beginning of the restoration, as it begins, there shall be a woman that shall rise up, a woman that shall be strong in faith, virtuous, beautiful in eyes, and her eyes shall be so beautiful. Her eyes shall be round and big. I have crowned her, says the Lord, as I crowned Esther. And the people shall receive her, for she shall have the oil of gladness for the pain and the mourning that has taken place. And she shall pour out the oil on this nation. And God says healing shall begin, and then it shall flow rapidly. Schools will be free from potential damage and danger, shootings and murder, drug addiction. Cartels shall be afraid of a woman anointed by God, a woman set aside. And God says they will say we hated her, but now we love her. For she shall take the oil of healing and she shall pour it upon the scars of those left and those right, and of the new party that has come forth and emerged.
Thoughts?
So, not all of those women were clearly in the running for what Kim Clement was talking about, but there's and the other thing is somebody could come out of left field. As far as we know, maybe it could be Melania. I don't know. I have no idea.
Right.
But there are definitely some women that could fit that bill. I think that I don't know how God-fearing Tulsi Gabbard is.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I look forward to seeing this play out. And he said in the summertime, correct?
Mhm.
And we're running out of that. So hopefully we'll see soon.
Exactly. You ready?
Yep.
Go ahead and read that.
My bad. Hit the wrong button. All right. South Africa has charged Oprah with trafficking among. Okay, hold on. I need a bigger screen. South Africa has charged Oprah with trafficking amongst other charges. She suddenly fell sick after being served extradition summons. Oprah Winfrey has been hospitalized, as per the Daily Mail.
Yeah.
Isn't that fascinating?
I don't think it's Kamala Skunk. Not at all.
No, I don't think it's Kamala.
So, what do you think about Oprah suddenly falling ill after it happens?
So the fact that it came out of the Daily Mail says a lot. It's at least a relatively reputable source. I haven't seen too much bad stuff come out of them, but I also know that they were wrapped up in a lot of the managing people's communications there for quite a while, especially in the comments and stuff like that. So I know that they had taken part in doing a narrative in the past. So Oprah, the information coming out that Oprah has been hospitalized. This is probably a standard tactic. Oh, I don't feel good. Yeah, okay, whatever. Now all of a sudden you're a trip and fall artist. Good job, Oprah. But you're an actress. We've known this all along. You fooled us for so long. We all thought that you were some kind of something that resembled a decent human being, but then we heard so many other things that just don't line up with that. So if Oprah's going down, then that says that there's some really big changes. That's a lot of power. That's a lot of money. She is a billionaire. She's been on the Forbes list for a very long time of some of the most wealthy people in the nation, in the world, as a matter of fact. So for a billionaire to get summoned by anything to a point where they felt that they needed to react and pull some, kind of legal, you can't extradite me because I'm feeling ill, then, then it's like, that's a very real thing that she is truly afraid of.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the tables sure have turned.
They have. You ready?
Wow. Yeah, that's big news. That's
It
really
is?
big news. That's bigger news than anybody's really going to be. Well, at least the real news people are going to talk about it, but
They will.
yeah, they're going to try to brush that one under the rug.
Yeah. Let's go.
Okay.
Oriana, thank you so much for that report. Well, an early morning scare for residents in Vinton as federal officials confirm a multi-agency takedown targeting multiple members and affiliates of a prison gang that has become increasingly active right here in El Paso streets.
Yes, the Chuco Tango gang, and it was the target of this raid as part of a large-scale drug trafficking investigation. KTSM 9 News reporter Jesus Baltazar has been following this story for us all day. He joins us live in central El Paso with how this all went down. Jesus.
Andy, Monica, earlier we reported that there were still 4 suspects at large from Thursday morning's multi-agency operation. Since then, DEA officials have confirmed that 1 out of those people have now been apprehended, thereby bringing the total number of apprehensions for Thursday's operation to 22 individuals.
The individuals arrested today have been indicted here in El Paso, the Western District, and in El Paso County, and are charged with a combination of statutes related to possession with intent to distribute cocaine, methamphetamine, and fentanyl.
Operation Rockwater. At the direction of the FBI and DEA, approximately 200 law enforcement officials from federal, state, local, and tribal agencies carried out the arrests, targeting members and affiliates of the Chuco Tango gang across the borderland in West Texas and southern New Mexico.
4 years ago, the FBI and our partners at the Texas Anti-Gang Center, the TAG, launched Operation Rockwater and an OCDF investigation, targeting Chuco Tango gang members who are violent criminals for trafficking dangerous drugs, poisoning the streets of El Paso and beyond.
Our crews also capturing heavy law enforcement presence at the El Paso County Coliseum, where the arrested individuals were reportedly being processed according to the El Paso Times. Federal officials did not confirm this information to us. And in the broader scheme of things, Thursday morning's raids also resulted in drug seizures totaling just over 16 kilos.
DEA's top operational priority is to defeat the Sinaloa and Jalisco cartels, the two drug cartels that are responsible for the vast majority of the fentanyl and methamphetamine that is killing Americans. With today's arrest, we're one step closer to that goal.
As of Thursday evening, 3 suspects remain at large after the capture of Jessica Rodarte. Now, federal officials told us this operation had been in the works since October of last year. U.S. Attorney for the Western District of Texas, Jaime Esparza, highlighting that these multi-agency operations rarely occur and take a lot of hard work. Reporting from Central Paso, Jesus Baltazar, KTSM 9 News.
Thoughts?
So, taking out large street gangs in El Paso. That's interesting, as all these street gangs seem to be trying to take over in all these other towns. So, sounds like a chess game is happening. Okay, here's your pawn. I'll take your pawn with my pawn. Seems like some of that's going on in the background right now. Very interesting. And then letting certain things play out. Wow. This is so... this is a big thing going on right now, and it's difficult to put it all together. But I'm going to say that by allowing Aurora, Colorado to happen, encouraged gangs in Chicago to go ahead and try, but they're going to find a lot of problems with the people who are already entrenched in Chicago. And now we're hearing about a takedown of a gang of similar size down in El Paso, Texas. So what's the significance of El Paso? So the North is taking care of itself in Chicago, and then the South is where they keep coming across. They say drug trafficking, but I just have this sneaking suspicion that they're into other kinds of trafficking as well, because from what I understand, there's a lot of money in that right now. So that's part of the curated message, I believe. So if I'm trying to read between the lines, I'm going to say that human trafficking is an issue. And at the border where El Paso is, that's going to be a big deal, because there's been a lot of problems in the past about El Paso, and we've heard about them, but for some strange reason, we stopped hearing about El Paso months ago. Now we're hearing that they're taking people down in El Paso. Isn't that interesting? So sounds like they're cutting off the supply to a lot of the things that are feeding this further up north. And this would be some kind of a double envelopment is what we're looking at right now. They're taking their shot, but it looks like they're just not, things just ain't working out the way that they kind of hoped they would. So this one, yeah, this is big. I can't, yeah, we'll just have to see as this continues to play out with all of these foreign street gangs.
Yep.
But then again, this is why, and I think that this is necessary for the people to be exposed to see this, because when President Trump was making all those comments about the illegal immigrants that are thugs, the ones that are the criminals, to show the people how the press lied to them. Now the people recognize, oh, these are the people that Trump was talking about. Yes, you get it. Congratulations. You get a gold star for the day. You finally figured it out. Good. Now let's make sure that Trump gets elected, so that way that this can get taken care of. Yeah, this is you can't tell the people, you have to show them. This is you have to show them time right now.
Exactly. You ready?
Yep.
Okay, black voter did her own research and realized she was never a Democrat. Let's go.
That's every race.
Growing up, black in America, you're told that you're supposed to just be a Democrat. So one day I asked myself, why am I a Democrat? And so I did the research of why I'm a Democrat, looked up what the Democrats were about. Then I did research about what the Republicans were about. And I realized that I've never been a Democrat. Anything that I stand for, everything that I was raised, my beliefs, my thoughts, it's all towards the Republican Party. And so then whenever I got there, I was able to get rid of my TDS, my Trump derangement syndrome, and I was able to open up my eyes and actually listen to him and give him a chance. And, black people, we don't like to be stereotyped or penalized or placed in a category. So I'm like, if I'm doing that to him and I don't want that done to me, then who am I? So it just kind of put me in a different mind space.
Wow, that was so well said, and I absolutely love your shirt. I think everyone is going to want to like buy one of these shirts. So cute. Well, thank you so much for your time and for your support. Thank you.
Thoughts?
I would say that that's an accurate statement for everybody, regardless of race. Regardless of race, people think that they're Republican or people think that they're Democrat. But when we get down to it, your average American falls within the libertarian range, which is kind of in the middle. But that's why Trump appeals to so many people, because he's actually talking about libertarian principles of people are able to live the way they want to live within the state that they live in, within the county that they live within. That's where the greatest amount of power is. That's what the American principle is. So that's what most people really are. It's just that we've been separated because of talking points, and in the end, nothing else other than talking points from two different sides trying to polarize everybody. So as people are depolarizing themselves, if that's a word, I'll just make it up, but that's all right. President Bush made up shit all the time. Strategery. Anyway, so it's a drawing back to the center, and that is our natural state. Now, with that being said, we all believe in the rule of law. That is, in fact, what holds that is the glue that holds the nation together, is that we all submit to the laws. The laws, therefore, must be just. And the only way that we can truly recognize what just is through the Bible, because that is a source other than just what people say. And that's where the left has kind of gotten lost and strayed away from the flock, is that they seem to think that that's not necessarily the case. So people are waking up, and as people do wake up, I will say that they will recognize that they're not really a Democrat and they're not really a Republican. They have Republican principles that they hold to, or they have Democratic principles that they hold to. But in the end, we're Americans, and that's what puts us together. And it's the law that protects all of us.
Exactly. So she mentioned TDS, Trump Derangement Syndrome.
Yes.
RFK came up with an amazing commercial, so we're going to watch it real quick.
All right.
You ready?
Yep.
Epic! You or your loved ones suffering from illnesses such as TDS, also known as Trump Derangement Syndrome? Do you dismiss or deny the current issues facing our country, such as historic inflation, illegal immigration, corporate corruption, World War III escalations, and the chronic disease epidemic? Are you willing to elect someone who was the least popular vice president in modern history, and who offers no policy or vision for America, simply because your brain keeps telling you anyone but Trump? If so, you might be struggling from TDS. Introducing Independence. Independence allows you the freedom to finally think independently once again. Instead of believing everything you hear from the mainstream media, Independence allows for constructive critical thinking.
I used to hear people on the news say things like, Donald Trump and the movement he has encouraged are a threat to democracy. And I instantly believed it.
That is hilarious. Give me a sponsorship or something so I can promote independence on this page. Oh, I already do it for free every day.
Thoughts?
I mean, all of those videos are funny.
Mm-hmm.
I heard Trump actually talking about TDS.
Mm-hmm.
So this is going to be a thing that we're going to start hearing more and more. And I think that we're at the point that we're dealing with really, truly some of the most childish people, like I was talking about before, with the I'm rubber, you're glue, bounces off me and sticks to you philosophy that the Democratic Party seems to be utilizing now as their main source of campaigning. It means that maybe we need to go to a little bit more baser level of communication, which sadly is name calling. Although I'm going to say that it might be an actual like mental illness, Trump derangement syndrome, because there you can like diagnose it and you can tell them and you can tell that they have it and they're like all the same. So yeah, again, we need to have a very serious conversation about the mental health in this nation.
Exactly. So we got Big Daddy T.
Yeah.
And he's gonna talk about releasing a certain list. Let's go.
All right.
But a lot of big people went to that island. But fortunately, I was not one of them.
It's just very strange for a lot of people that the list of clients that went to the island has not been made public.
Yeah, it's very interesting, isn't it? Probably will be.
So if you're able to, you'll be.
Yeah, I'd certainly take a look at it. Now, Kennedy's interesting because it's so many years ago. You know, they do that for danger too, because, you know, it endangers certain people, et cetera, et cetera. So Kennedy is very different from the Epstein thing. But yeah, I'd be inclined to do the Epstein. I'd have no problem with it.
Thoughts?
Predictive programming, getting people used to the concept that he may release the list. Although everything we understand about Trump and based off of his mannerisms and the way he treated world leaders around the world who seem to be a part of that little Epstein list kind of indicates that he really doesn't like them and that he doesn't want them around. Of course, I still am believing that they're going to cart Jeffrey Epstein out once Trump's president and that list comes out. They might have him actually. Is this your book? Yes, it is.
Exactly.
I don't know. I just got a gut feeling that they're going to cart Epstein out. You know, it's just, there's too much weird stuff. And it kind of points to that. So we'll see if that happens. But I do firmly believe that President Trump will bring that book out. I have a feeling that a lot of stuff is going to get declassified because he brought up the main reason why stuff doesn't get declassified, because sometimes you have to protect people. Now, who is he protecting? That is an excellent question, because is he protecting the people that are on the list because they were there and that they're in positions of importance? Or would the list be getting protected because there's still active operatives who are collecting evidence and information as to where all of these people are, how they're going about rebuilding, and how we can take those kinds of organizations down? So we need to recognize that if Trump doesn't release something, it's being done for a reason. And it may not be that Trump is compromised. It may not be that Trump is part of it. It may very well be that there's some information that if we were to act on it too soon, that it would absolutely destroy any opportunities that we have. And that would explain why Trump didn't do anything when we knew that the election was stolen, other than to say something about it. Again, 5D chess versus checkers.
Yeah.
Aaron says, Santino, liberalism is a mental disorder. Michael Savage said it correctly in the early 2000s. TDS is a symptom of liberalism. It happens to Republicans too.
I'm going to answer Fire's question.
Okay.
Cheap steak on the grill, 6 minutes on each side. Propane tank after empty after 6 minutes, only one side. How's the best way to finish this in the oven? Cast iron skillet
in the oven
on 500 degrees.
Butter the pan first. Yeah.
Yeah, and you
you sear it if the backside isn't charred at all. If you didn't get a char on it, make sure that the cast iron's hot. Sear that side. Let's see. I think it's 1 minute on each side, and
1 minute. Yeah,
and then throw it in the oven, depending upon how much the weight is.
Yep.
You can Google it.
Yeah. It really comes out amazing.
Yeah, butter steak. That's what the steakhouses
we
do.
use butter and garlic.
Because I like butter.
Yep. You ready?
Yeah.
He was a man that I hated. We hated Christianity, and he stood for everything we hated.
I do not believe that you have come here to hear a man. I believe you have come to hear a message.
The 10 of us went to that crusade was to kill Billy Graham. I made up 10 zip guns, so each member had one of those. I said to the guys, come on, we're going on the green. And we spaced ourselves so that we could see each other around where Billy Graham was preaching. We decided that we would leave it until the appeal time. Not before, but during the appeal. We would kill Billy Graham.
There are thousands of you here today that have burdens that need to be lifted.
My gun was under my jumper, and I'm standing there, and I looked around at this crowd, and I thought, what the dickens are all these people doing here? And I turned back around, and then suddenly a voice said to me, "What are you doing here, George?" And I quickly turned back around to have a look and see who was there, and nobody was there that I knew. And I got very uncomfortable about that, I can tell you. Very uncomfortable.
The Spirit of God is speaking, and He's here tonight, and you know He's here. And there's a little voice down inside of you that says you need Christ. That is God speaking.
Okay, I know this is you, God. You took my dad. You hurt me so much. Why should I love you? Why should I care about you? And God said to me, "George, I didn't take your dad to hurt you." And indeed, He said, "I would never hurt you, full stop." Well, by this time, I'm starting to melt a bit. Now, remember that I hadn't cried since 7.5.
I tell you, before you leave this great stadium, you can find an answer to the dilemmas and mysteries of life. If you will come and surrender yourself without reservation to Jesus Christ.
I thought about it for a while, and then the appeal came. I suddenly began to weep, and I cried, and I cried, and I cried. My zip gun was under my jumper. I put it on the ground, and I ran to the front.
There may be many factors that led you to this moment, but there is a climactic moment when you give your life to Christ. And you do it by faith. Faith in Christ.
The amazing thing was that 9 out of the 10 of us got converted that night. Then we were all a bubbling mess. We really were. And we talked about, how wrong we were and the things we'd done and all this. It was quite a night, let me tell you, quite a night.
Thoughts?
Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Case in point, there were how many people there that were trying to take him out?
10.
10. Didn't happen. Isn't that interesting?
Very.
9 of them couldn't do it. Were converted that day. The power of God is real. The power of God can happen at any point in time. And it's usually going to be at the time where it makes the greatest amount of change. It's amazing how it's amazing when people tell their testimony and when they give their story about how they were changed and how it could have been done in an absolute instant like that. But it shouldn't surprise us, because really, how much different is that than Saul?
Exactly.
Yeah. God is good. Amen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Amen.
Beautiful.
You ready?
Yep.
I got Justin.
All right.
Let's
nice.
go.
When you're chosen and isolated, this is your time of preparation. This is your time of consecration. See, God cannot promote you publicly until you've had victory privately. I learned this lesson a year ago after a divorce. I could have stayed where I was at. I could have stayed negative. I could have stayed depressed. I could have just froze where I was at, looked back at my past and said, you know what? Life's unfair. And I'm not a lucky guy. I'm one of the unlucky guys. I'm the punching bag for everybody. And that's just the way it is and the way it's going to be. And I could have carried that attitude. I could be 1 year later, I could still be that person. But then Jesus got a hold of me and said, are you done with your pity party? Because we got work to do, and I'm going to help you. Come on. Where I was at and the shape I was in was not going to fit my future. God was calling me to mold into what he's created me for. In other words, my assignment. I was like a square peg trying to fit in a round hole. It'll go eventually, but you're going to have to carve off all four corners. You're going to have to get rid of all the excess that doesn't belong into the new mold. Now, what you're trimming off to fit your new mold could be a number of things. It could be a person. It could be a location. It could be disobedience to God. It could be your health. It could be a number of things. Listen to that inner voice, that still small voice. The sheep know the sound of the shepherd's voice, that umption in your gumption. What is it that God's instructing you to do? What is it that God is instructing you not to do?
You know, when I was listening to that earlier, it made so much sense because I could have stayed negative after my divorce.
So many things.
You know, I could have stayed negative at 16 when I became emancipated. I could have stayed negative, you know, when my dad passed away when I was 15. I could have stayed negative at a lot of things, but God got me ready to meet you. And God put us together for a reason. And, you know, you could have stayed negative about your ex and
So many
everything
things.
she did to you.
Yeah, I'm not going through the list.
Right. And so he's so right. He's so right.
Mm-hmm.
So thoughts?
He brought up the quiet voice. That quiet voice is the important one. It's the one that you know is right, but sometimes we just don't want to listen to. But by God, that's the voice that we need to be listening to. It's the one that a lot of us forgot to listen to. And it's that is the cry. That is the cry and the call for us individually, the sheep, but it's going to be quiet. It's going to be quiet, but that's usually the peaceful one. That's the one that, you know, has you do the things that you know you should be doing anyways. And the more we listen to that, it's like an exercise. It's going to grow in strength. It will get louder, and it will be the one that helps guide us back to the place where we need to be. And we should all be doing that right now. We could be staying in the past. Jesus only mentioned one woman in the Bible, Lot's wife. Why? Because she looked back. Did she just look back, or did she look back longingly for what she lost, as opposed to the beautiful future that she had in store for her? And it's not just for women, it's all of us. Dudes can be jaded. We need to not focus on that. That was then. This is now. Okay, good. You recognize that sucked. That's a good step forward. Why don't we work from that foundation and try to make it better, so that way it doesn't have to keep going that way, so that way you stop getting reproofed. We don't want the reproofs. We want life to be beautiful and grand. And how do we do that? By listening to that quiet voice. What's that quiet voice telling us to do? All the things you probably don't want to do.
But we need to do.
But we need to do. The things you know you need to do, but you don't want to do. So
exactly.
We keep driving forward. And that is how we get that connection with God.
Amen.
As far as I know. I don't know. I could be wrong, but that's what I understand.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. In a sane world, this ad with Gold Star families would end the Harris-Walz campaign. Ready?
Yeah.
President Harris.
Vice President Harris.
Vice President Harris. My name is Steve Nakui. I'm the father of Lance Corporal Kareem M. Nakui.
My name is Jim McCollum. I am the Gold Star father of United States Marine Corps Lance Corporal Riley McCollum.
This is Mark Schmitz, Gold Star father of Marine Lance Corporal Jared Schmitz.
My name is Darren Hoover, and I'm the Gold Star father of United States Marine Corps Staff Sergeant Taylor Hoover.
My daughter-in-law, Sergeant Nicole Leanne G., was killed in the Afghanistan exit at Abbey Gate.
Our kids were murdered because of your administration.
You were not at Dover for the dignified transfer, and no time have you reached out to me to offer your condolences, to offer thank you for Kareem's sacrifice and service.
You have 13 families who have been waiting over 3 years
to so much as get a phone call, to so much as hear our kids' names said aloud.
You failed for 3 years and 8 months to acknowledge our kids.
Where were you and Joe Biden on August 26, 2024? Nowhere near Arlington Cemetery. You couldn't be bothered to be with us or even say our kids' names, just as you had done for the last 3 years.
Vice President Harris, I ask you, why won't you return a call and explain to us how you call my daughter-in-law's death a success? President Trump has called. President Trump shows up. But President Trump takes the time to hear our loved ones' stories.
We invited him to be there.
These are the only memories we get to make with our son, and it is you who is playing politics and trying to detract from our memories made that day.
President Trump has been there for us. He's been a rock for us. He showed compassion for us, and he showed he truly cares for the families that truly do know what the ultimate sacrifice really is.
Thoughts?
How can anybody even consider voting for people a word that behave that way? You know, I know that a lot of people are exposed to Abraham Lincoln's letter to the mother of the 5 young men who died in the Civil War, probably because of Saving Private Ryan. And a lot of people may or may not know about Napoleon, that he would go through the roster every single day. And he actually knew the names of the people who had passed. And he recognized the loss. And he took it on personally. He recognized. And that's the sign of a good leader, not just Napoleon, not just Abraham Lincoln. This is a leader in general. They're going to know the names of the people that are no longer here because of them, and they take it on personally. You can't tell me that Kamala Harris or Joe Biden are taking this on personally, that their piss poor decisions are the ones that put these people in a grave that they shouldn't be in because of their rules of engagement, because of the yes men leadership that they put in place. They have no conscience for anything other than themselves. And if they can't even bring themselves to acknowledge to the people that are left behind because of their decisions, then these are not people that we would want running anything. I don't even think that they should be running the chief latrine cleaner at an outdoor sporting event.
Exactly.
It
Or a
just-
rest stop or anything.
Or a rest stop or anything. They don't need to be in charge of anything. They need to just sit there and do the dirtiest jobs. I mean, Kamala already knows about all that.
Exactly.
But they need to do the dirtiest jobs and not really be heard from until they learn that that behavior is unacceptable. Unless they're tied up into other things that are tied to Epstein, in which case, then that's a whole other, ball of wax. But you know what? Have a feeling you don't get to that level of the swamp without partaking in some of those festivities.
Exactly.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so you picked Jenny for your motto. So
I
let's
did
go.
pick Jenny for my motto. Pause it. God pulled you out of the pit so you could go back in and get more people out. Never forget that.
It says I'm gonna win big. Choose not the life of imitation. Distant us into the reservation. You pump the pistol that you pay for. This pump the feeling that you stay for. In time, I want to be your best friend. Eastside love is living on the west end. Knock out the boy, you better come to. Don't die, you know the truth is some do. Go write your message on the pavement.
All right.
God pulled each and every one of us out of the pit that we were in so that way we could see the truth of what was going on in the world around us. And I'm truly grateful for that. And how can I show my gratitude and appreciation? By bringing more home. The harvest is plenty, but oh God, I just lost it. The harvest is plenty, but the gatherers are few. I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Workers.
Okay. The workers are few. That's the word I was looking for. And the workers are few. How do we get more workers? By bringing them out of the pit that we were just brought out of ourselves. What more could we do to bring more of the flock back, to help people recognize that they've been lied to their entire lives and that it's okay that you weren't, savvy enough to figure it out? Guess what? Welcome to the club. We're all part of it. We all fell prey to it. At some point in time in our lives, each and every one of us believed the lies. And if you didn't, then kudos to you. You're amazing. But I think that this is something that's been spoken of for time immemorial. This is something that's been going on for a long time. This is what Socrates was talking about or Plato was talking about when he said, no one is more hated than he who speaks the truth.
Yep.
Why
One
are
of my
people
favorite
hated that speak the
shirts.
truth? Because the truth is there to wake people up.
Yep.
So there is a danger to it, and it can get you ostracized. But once you know the truth, how can you live with it anymore? So our job, our goal is to try to get as many people to wake up as possible. And then the added benefit of that is that it will be a peaceful transition to power of a more American kind, as opposed to this more, I don't know, Marxist kind of crap that we got going on now. And that would make all of us much better off. And the more people that we can take out of that pit, then the safer and easier it will be. So make sure that we are all doing our parts to try to wake people up. It's getting more difficult to find people that need some waking up, but we could all use some help somewhere. So yeah, keep doing the hard work there.
Yep.
Aaron says, because the truth does not give a rat's backside about how you feel or how unfair it is. Ain't that the truth? It's rather impartial. Yeah, the truth don't care.
I like this one from
And then Hope says, I told both my girls to reach out your hand to help pull them up. But when they start pulling you in, you have to pray and let go. And that's a beautiful point as well, Hope. It's good to help people, but even a lifeguard will let somebody drown to save their own life, because if they're flailing around in that water, they have a very real potential. No matter how good of a swimmer you think you may be, they can take you down too.
Yep.
And now, just because somebody drowns doesn't mean that you can't grab them at that point in time. Well, now they're still. So grab them, bring them back to shore. Terrible way of doing things, but we got to do what we got to do. And we save everybody as best we can. But we save people until they try to bring us back down to where we were. And we know that none of us wants to be there. Beautifully. Thank you, Turber.
Thank you, Turber.
Much appreciated.
All right.
All right. Did you have any seasoning?
That's it.
Really?
Yep.
All right. Anyways, thank you all very much for joining us tonight. We appreciate each and every one of you for joining us on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, X, Rumble, and pill.net.
And if you haven't already, please take a moment for that virtual hug. If you're over on Rumble or YouTube, hit that thumbs up. If you're over on Pill, take that red pill. If you're over on X, smash that heart. And if you're on Facebook, just pick one of those things. I don't know.
Well, you just pick
I don't
things.
know what they have.
Pick the things.
Yeah, just pick the things.
But we appreciate
I like
that.
the heart. If you want to pick the heart over on Facebook.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Middle finger, whatever. I don't
Whatever.
care. Yeah.
Whatever you feel like picking. Pick your nose if you want to.
You can pick your nose and you can pick your friends, but you can't pick your friend's nose.
Exactly.
Yeah, I kind of messed that up a little. That's okay.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Nobody's going to judge me on that one.
No.
Anyways, thank you all for joining us. We love you all. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a great night. God bless and be safe.